What if you suddenly lost everything and had no one by your side? That question hit Jenna harder than she expected as she stared at the glowing screen in her tiny apartment, the soft hum of the late-night city outside barely audible over the booming voice of Elon Musk announcing the launch of Grok 4 Heavy, the latest premium AI experience promising to revolutionize life for those who could afford it. At $300 a month, this wasn't just a gadget or an app, it was a lifeline for some, a distant dream for others. Jenna's fingers trembled slightly as she hit the subscribe button on the livestream chat. Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? She typed quickly, her heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and dread. The room felt smaller all of a sudden, the weight of her reality pressing down on her. Grok 4 Heavy wasn't just a product launch, it was a symbol of everything Jenna wanted but felt slipping further away. She had been obsessed with technology since she was a kid, growing up in a quiet Ohio town where dreams rarely stretched beyond the next paycheck. She remembered the nights spent tinkering with her old laptop, watching YouTube tutorials, and dreaming of a life where technology wasn't just a pastime but a career, a way to escape the cycle of hardship her family seemed trapped in. Her father's absence since she was 12 had left a hole that no amount of coding or screen time could fill. Her mother worked 2 jobs, always tired, always worried, and Jenna felt the invisible pressure to keep pushing forward, even when hope was hard to find. Watching Elon Musk speak about Grok, describing it as an AI that could learn, adapt, and truly understand its user, Jenna felt a pang of longing. She imagined what it would be like to have a companion, a coach, a guide all wrapped into one powerful tool, someone, or something, that wouldn't judge her or let her down. But the $300 monthly fee was a harsh reminder of her reality. Her paycheck from the local startup she worked at barely covered rent and groceries. Could she really justify that expense? As the live stream ended, Jenna sat back in her worn-out chair and glanced around her cramped apartment, a faded poster of the Silicon Valley skyline, stacks of unpaid bills, and her aging laptop on the desk. Despite the odds, something inside her stirred. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? She whispered to herself, the question now echoing in her mind as a challenge. She remembered her friend Mark's words from earlier that week, "You've got the talent, Jenna. Don't let money hold you back." The thought gave her a flicker of hope, but it was quickly shadowed by the fear of failure. The night stretched on as Jenna scrolled through forums and reviews about Grok 4 Heavy, reading stories of early users who claimed it transformed their productivity, relationships, even their mental health. It wasn't just a tool, it was becoming a phenomenon. Yet, for every glowing review, there were whispers of those who couldn't keep up with the subscription, who felt abandoned when the AI's support stopped the moment their payment failed. Jenna's heart ached with the knowledge that this world of premium AI wasn't built for people like her, or was it? Somewhere deep down, she knew that this wasn't just about technology. It was about survival, about finding a way to break free from the endless cycle of setbacks and disappointments. She imagined herself a year from now. Would she be one of the lucky few with Grok's help guiding her every decision, or would she still be stuck in this apartment, stuck in this life? The clock ticked past midnight, but Jenna's mind refused to rest. She opened her email again and again, hoping for a miracle, a job offer, a scholarship, any chance to afford the AI experience Elon Musk had promised. Outside, the city lights flickered, indifferent to the battles fought in tiny rooms like hers. Tomorrow was another day, and Jenna resolved to keep fighting. She typed one more message in the livestream chat, her fingers steady now. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? For me, it's the chance to prove that where you come from doesn't define where you're going. She hit send, her breath caught between fear and hope. Somewhere, across the country, strangers would read her words and maybe, just maybe, feel a little less alone. The promise of Grok 4 Heavy wasn't just about AI or technology, it was about human connection, about the hope that even in the darkest moments, something or someone might light the way forward. Jenna didn't know if she would ever afford it, but she knew she had to try. Because sometimes, the greatest risk is not taking one at all. Jenna had never been the kind of person who gave up easily, but the roots of her stubbornness traced back to a childhood shaped by hardship and quiet determination in a small town in Ohio where everyone knew your name and your family's story. Growing up, Jenna was the middle child in a family that felt fragile beneath its surface. Her father had been a truck driver, a man of few words but deep love, who died in a car accident when Jenna was just 12, leaving her mother to raise Jenna and her younger brother, Toby, alone. The loss had fractured the family's sense of security, forcing Jenna to grow up fast, learning to take responsibility in ways most kids never had to face. Her mother worked 2 jobs, first as a nurse's assistant during the day, then at a diner late into the night, and despite the exhaustion, she always made sure there was food on the table and clean clothes for Jenna and Toby. Jenna remembered nights when she would lie awake, listening to the hum of her mother's old car pulling into the driveway after a 12-hour shift, hoping to catch a glimpse before drifting to sleep. Those were the moments she learned what it meant to sacrifice, to fight silently for family. School had never been easy. Jenna wasn't naturally gifted at sports or socializing, and she often felt invisible in a crowd of louder, more confident kids. She buried herself in technology instead, anything with a screen, a code, or a circuit. Her bedroom was cluttered with broken gadgets she tried to fix, coding books she borrowed from the library, and hand-me-down laptops she spent hours resurrecting. It wasn't just a hobby, it was her refuge, her way to escape a world that often felt indifferent. Yet even in this world, Jenna faced challenges. Teachers often overlooked her potential, and classmates dismissed her quiet determination as awkwardness. "Why don't you just try harder to be normal?" a classmate once sneered during a particularly rough lunch period. But Jenna knew that normal wasn't for her. She dreamed bigger, dreamed of building things that mattered, of creating technology that could change lives like hers. That dream was fueled by Mark, her best friend since middle school, who saw Jenna for who she truly was. Mark was the kind of person who never let you forget your worth. His unwavering belief in Jenna became the anchor she clung to during the darkest days. "You're not just another face in the crowd, Jenna," he would say, "you're a force. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise." Their friendship was the light in her often stormy world, filled with laughter, late-night talks, and shared dreams of a future where they could leave their small town behind. But family always pulled Jenna back, grounding her with love and obligation. Toby, her younger brother, was a curious, bright kid who looked up to Jenna with wide eyes, always asking questions about the strange things she built or the stories she told about the internet's vast possibilities. Jenna felt a fierce protectiveness over him, determined to give him opportunities she never had. Her mother, meanwhile, was both a source of strength and quiet tension. She admired Jenna's intelligence but worried the world was too harsh for dreams that seemed out of reach. "I just don't want you to get hurt," her mother often said, eyes filled with both love and fear. This tension created an unspoken rift. Jenna's ambitions felt like rebellion against the survival mentality that had kept her family afloat. That complicated relationship was a constant undercurrent in Jenna's life, shaping her psychology in profound ways. She carried the weight of expectations, both her own and others, with a fierce pride that sometimes bordered on defiance. She wanted to prove that her dreams were valid, that the girl who grew up in a cramped apartment with too many bills could become someone who mattered in the tech world. But beneath the determination was a quieter fear of failure, of not living up to the promise she saw in herself. Those fears often made Jenna retreat into her work, where success was measured in lines of code or functioning prototypes, rather than uncertain human relationships. Love had always been a complicated thing for Jenna. She wasn't used to vulnerability, and opening up to others felt risky. Yet over the past year, Eric had entered her life, a soft-spoken coworker at the startup where she worked, who shared her passion for technology and quietly admired her resilience. Their relationship was tentative, a fragile thread of hope woven between the chaos of their busy lives. Eric understood Jenna's fears and ambitions without judgment, offering steady support that sometimes made Jenna wonder if she could let down her guard. But old habits died hard, and Jenna often found herself pulling away when things felt too close, too real. The emotional walls she had built to protect herself were strong, but cracks appeared when Eric stayed late to help her debug code or when he listened patiently to her stories about Grok 4 Heavy. Even so, Jenna's heart carried the scars of past disappointments, making her wary of trusting too easily. All of this, the family pressure, the financial struggles, the tentative love, the deep-rooted fears, formed the foundation of Jenna's character. She was a woman caught between worlds, navigating the impossible balance of chasing big dreams while shouldering real-life responsibilities. This complicated, sometimes contradictory psychology made her relatable and real, a character the audience could root for because she was imperfect yet unyielding. Jenna's mind was always racing, her thoughts a mix of possibilities and doubts. She often replayed conversations with Mark and Eric, searching for signs that she was on the right path. She knew that access to Grok 4 Heavy could be a turning point, offering the personalized guidance and emotional support she lacked. But the cost was a barrier she hadn't yet figured out how to overcome. Every time she imagined the AI's potential, its ability to understand her unique struggles, its promise of customized advice for career and personal growth, her heart ached with both hope and frustration. Could technology really fill the gaps left by human connection? Was Grok a friend or just another luxury for the privileged? These questions haunted her nights. Yet, amidst the uncertainty, Jenna found small moments of joy, coding late into the night with Eric's quiet encouragement, sharing coffee and dreams with Mark, watching Toby take his first steps toward independence at school. These relationships were her anchor, reminders that she wasn't alone in the fight. And that fight was real. Jenna's backstory wasn't just a history of loss and struggle, it was a testament to resilience. The same determination that had pushed her to learn coding languages at 12, to fix broken electronics instead of throwing them away, and to apply to every job and scholarship she could find. This grit defined her. It was the engine behind her dream of experiencing Grok 4 Heavy, not just as a consumer, but as someone who could harness its power to build a better life. The tension between her past and future, between love and independence, between hope and fear, was the invisible thread weaving through Jenna's story. It made her relatable, made her struggles feel authentic, and set the stage for the challenges and growth to come. Because Jenna's journey wasn't just about technology, it was about the human spirit, its capacity to endure, to adapt, and ultimately, to find light even in the darkest corners. As the sun rose over her Ohio town, Jenna sat at her desk, her laptop open to the Grok 4 Heavy website. She wasn't sure what the future held, but one thing was clear, she wasn't done dreaming. Not yet. Jenna's life had always been shaped not just by her own dreams and struggles but by the people closest to her. The ones who believed in her, challenged her, or sometimes even held her back. Among them, Mark was the steady force she leaned on through thick and thin. Mark had grown up in the same Ohio town, a year older than Jenna and always a few steps ahead in confidence and social grace. He was the kind of friend who could read Jenna's moods without her saying a word and knew when to push her and when to give her space. Their friendship was the kind that didn't need constant talking to stay strong, just being there was enough. Mark's belief in Jenna's potential was unwavering. He saw in her what she sometimes forgot herself, a spark of brilliance, a resilience that refused to be crushed by circumstances. He reminded her often that her background didn't define her future, and his encouragement kept her moving forward even when the weight of bills and rejection letters threatened to stop her cold. Their late-night calls and shared coffee breaks became the emotional lifeline that kept Jenna's hope alive. Yet, Mark's own frustration sometimes bubbled beneath the surface. He wanted Jenna to seize every opportunity and sometimes grew impatient when she hesitated, fearing she might settle for less than she deserved. "You can't just wait for something to fall in your lap," he told her once after a tough day, "you've got to grab the future with both hands." His bluntness was part of what made their friendship real, he didn't sugarcoat the truth but offered it because he cared. Then there was Eric, Jenna's coworker and quiet love interest, who brought a different kind of support into her life. Eric wasn't flashy or loud like Mark, he was patient, thoughtful, and genuinely interested in understanding Jenna's world. Working side by side at the tech startup, they shared long hours troubleshooting code, brainstorming ideas, and occasionally stealing moments of laughter amid the stress. Eric's presence was a balm to Jenna's restless mind, offering comfort without demands. He admired her tenacity and quietly wished she would let herself be vulnerable more often. Jenna appreciated Eric's kindness but struggled to fully open up. The walls she'd built over years of disappointment and loss were thick, and letting someone in felt like risking everything she'd fought to protect. Still, in Eric's company, Jenna found moments of peace, a sense that maybe, just maybe, she didn't have to face her battles alone. Her relationship with her mother was more complicated. Their bond was rooted in deep love but tangled in fear and misunderstanding. Jenna's mother had sacrificed so much after her husband's death, working tirelessly to keep the family afloat. She saw Jenna's ambitions as both inspiring and dangerous, fearing the world would break her daughter if she reached too high. "I just want you to be safe," her mother often said, her voice thick with worry. Those words weighed on Jenna, who felt torn between honoring her mother's sacrifices and pursuing the dreams that pulled her forward. The tension between them simmered beneath the surface, sometimes erupting in heated conversations about money, priorities, and what a realistic future looked like. Jenna wanted her mother's blessing but knew that to follow her heart, she might have to push past those fears. Jenna's younger brother, Toby, was a bright spot in her life, a reminder of innocence and the possibility of a better tomorrow. Toby admired Jenna's passion and looked up to her as a role model. She felt a fierce responsibility to protect him from the harsh realities she faced and to help him believe that he could reach beyond their circumstances. This sense of duty added to Jenna's determination but also deepened her fears of failure. Losing the chance to give Toby a better life felt unbearable. These relationships formed the emotional core of Jenna's world, influencing every decision she made about her future and the risks she was willing to take. When Elon Musk announced Grok 4 Heavy, Jenna shared the news first with Mark. His eyes lit up with excitement and possibility, and he immediately pushed her to find a way to make it work. "This could be your breakthrough," he said. "Imagine having an AI that not only helps with work but also keeps you grounded emotionally." Mark's enthusiasm was infectious, but he also warned Jenna not to let herself get consumed by the technology. "Don't lose the people who matter chasing a dream," he said, reminding her of the delicate balance she had to maintain. Jenna also confided in Eric about her fascination with Grok and her fears about the subscription cost. Eric listened patiently, offering practical advice and encouragement. "If anyone can figure out how to make it work, it's you," he said softly. Yet, he also reminded her to be mindful of her limits, suggesting that technology should be a tool, not a crutch. The tension between hope and caution threaded through Jenna's conversations with those closest to her, highlighting the conflicts that would shape her journey. Sometimes, Jenna felt caught in the middle, torn between her drive to succeed and the fear of losing the people who cared most. These moments of doubt and connection revealed her vulnerabilities and made her struggle relatable. Through it all, Jenna's relationships taught her that success wasn't just about achieving goals but about how she navigated the complexities of love, friendship, and family. They challenged her to grow emotionally, to learn when to lean on others, and when to stand strong alone. As Jenna prepared to face the financial realities of Grok 4 Heavy, these relationships would be tested. Would Mark's tough love push her too hard? Would Eric's quiet support be enough? Could she reconcile her ambitions with her mother's fears? The answers would come with time, shaped by the choices Jenna made and the lessons she learned along the way. In this crucible of relationships, Jenna's motivations became clearer. She wanted more than just a better life for herself, she wanted to honor the sacrifices of those she loved, to prove that their belief in her wasn't misplaced. Grok 4 Heavy symbolized not just technological advancement but a chance for transformation. It represented the possibility that she could break free from the limitations of her past and build a future defined by hope and connection. Yet, she knew the path wouldn't be easy. Balancing her dreams with real-world challenges, nurturing relationships while pursuing independence, and confronting the fear of failure, these were the battles ahead. Jenna's story was no longer just about her, it was about the people who shaped her and the love that fueled her determination. This intricate web of relationships added depth to her character and set the stage for the conflicts and growth that would unfold in the chapters to come. It was a reminder that even in a world driven by cutting-edge technology, the most profound challenges were often the ones closest to the heart. Jenna's excitement about Grok 4 Heavy quickly collided with the harsh realities of her life. The $300 a month subscription was more than a luxury, it was a barrier that felt like a wall between her current world and the future she longed for. After the live stream announcement, Jenna threw herself into job applications and freelance gigs, working late into the night to scrape together every possible dollar. But the world outside her small apartment was unforgiving. At the startup, funding cuts meant fewer hours, and her freelance clients were often slow to pay or canceled projects without warning. Every setback chipped away at her hope, but Jenna refused to give in. She kept Mark updated with mixed news, sometimes the spark of a promising opportunity, sometimes the bitter sting of rejection. One afternoon, after an exhausting day trying to pitch a new app idea, Jenna slumped on the worn couch in her living room, staring at the glowing screen displaying Grok 4 Heavy's interface demo video. The AI's voice promised understanding, personalized advice, and even emotional support tailored to the user's needs. For a moment, Jenna imagined what it would be like to have that kind of companion. A partner who could help her navigate both her professional struggles and the tangled emotions she often hid. But reality snapped back. She had no extra money, no safety net, and a looming rent payment due in less than 2 weeks. The tension between desire and practicality gnawed at her. At work, Jenna's growing stress affected her performance. She started making small mistakes in code, missing deadlines, and snapping at coworkers. Eric noticed and gently pulled her aside one afternoon. "You're burning out," he said softly. "Maybe you need to take a step back and breathe." Jenna bristled at first, feeling both grateful and frustrated. She didn't want to admit she was overwhelmed, but Eric's concern opened a crack in her armor. "I just want this to work," she admitted quietly. "I'm trying to find a way to get Grok 4 Heavy, to change my life." Eric nodded, understanding but cautious. "Just remember, you're more than your subscription. You don't have to do this alone." Meanwhile, the strain with Jenna's mother grew. Their conversations became shorter, more tense. Her mother worried openly about Jenna's financial risks and what she called chasing expensive dreams. "I just don't want you to end up with nothing, Jenna," she said one evening, her voice thick with worry. "You're already carrying so much." Jenna felt torn, she wanted her mother's support but couldn't silence the voice inside pushing her forward. In a rare moment of vulnerability, Jenna confided in Mark about the mounting pressure. Mark listened and then said, "Maybe Grok isn't just about the AI. Maybe it's about what it represents, the chance to take control, to prove you're not stuck. You need to find that control somewhere, even if it's not from Grok yet." His words sparked a new determination in Jenna. She realized the conflict wasn't just external. It was inside her, a battle between hope and fear, between reaching for help and trusting herself. One evening, as Jenna was drafting a proposal for a new client, her laptop crashed, the screen flickering and going black. Panic surged through her. That laptop was her lifeline. Without it, her ability to work and apply for opportunities vanished. She scrambled to reboot, but the damage was clear, a hardware failure she couldn't fix herself. The timing couldn't have been worse. Mark came over to help, bringing his toolkit and calm presence. Together, they spent hours trying to revive the machine, but the reality set in, Jenna would need a new laptop, and that meant more money she didn't have. The setback felt devastating, but Mark refused to let her sink into despair. "We'll find a way," he said firmly. "You're not alone." That night, Jenna lay awake, the weight of her struggles pressing down harder than ever. She wondered if the promise of Grok 4 Heavy was a cruel tease or a genuine beacon of hope. Her dreams felt fragile, easily shattered by a broken device or a missed payment. Yet somewhere deep inside, a small flame still burned, a stubborn refusal to give up. The next morning brought a surprising opportunity. Jenna received an email from a local nonprofit offering a grant for women in tech struggling to access advanced tools and education. The grant would cover some expenses for technology subscriptions and equipment. Jenna's heart raced as she read the application details. Could this be the break she needed? For the first time in weeks, hope surged stronger than doubt. She spent the next days pouring every ounce of energy into the application, detailing her story, her dreams, and the potential she saw in Grok 4 Heavy to transform her life and work. Mark and Eric both helped review her essays and offered encouragement. But as the deadline approached, Jenna faced another blow. Her part-time job was cut entirely due to budget constraints, leaving her with even less income. The crisis forced her to make tough choices, between rent, food, and chasing a dream that felt increasingly out of reach. She felt herself unraveling, the pressure mounting like a storm she couldn't escape. In a moment of quiet despair, Jenna confided in Eric, her voice trembling with frustration and fear. What if I'm just chasing something I can't have? What if this is all for nothing? Eric took her hands gently. Then at least you tried. But don't forget how far you've come. You're stronger than you think. Those words, simple yet profound, stayed with Jenna as she submitted her grant application, feeling both hope and vulnerability tangled together. The waiting period was excruciating. Every day stretched endlessly as Jenna checked her email obsessively, fearing rejection but daring to dream. When the acceptance notice finally arrived, it felt like a lifeline thrown into the raging sea of her challenges. The grant wouldn't cover the full $300 subscription fee but would help with the initial months and equipment costs. It was enough to finally take the plunge. With trembling hands, Jenna signed up for Grok 4 Heavy, activating the premium AI experience she'd only dreamed of. The interface welcomed her with warmth and curiosity, asking questions about her goals, fears, and routines. Jenna felt an unexpected surge of comfort, as if the AI was already a companion rather than just a tool. But the journey was just beginning. Early days with Grok brought surprising challenges. The AI's insights sometimes felt too raw, exposing Jenna's insecurities and pushing her to confront emotions she had long buried. At times, she resisted, retreating from the AI's probing questions or ignoring its suggestions. Mark noticed her withdrawal and reminded her, growth isn't comfortable. It's messy, but it's worth it. Eric helped too, encouraging Jenna to balance the AI's guidance with self-care and patience. The tension between Jenna's hope for Grok and the difficult truths it revealed created a new internal conflict. Was she ready for the change the AI demanded? Grok's ability to learn Jenna's patterns and moods became both a gift and a challenge. It suggested new ways to manage stress, to organize her work, even to reach out to people she had pushed away. At first, Jenna was skeptical, but as she tried the AI's recommendations, she began to see small shifts, a calmer mindset, more focused work sessions, moments of connection with Eric and Mark that felt deeper and more honest. The AI's premium features included personalized coaching, mental health check-ins, and career strategy advice, all tailored to Jenna's unique story. It was like having a mentor, therapist, and strategist rolled into one, accessible anytime she needed. Yet, this new tool also revealed Jenna's vulnerabilities in stark relief, forcing her to face fears of failure, abandonment, and loneliness. Those emotional peaks and valleys tested her resilience, but with each challenge, she grew stronger and more self-aware. As the months passed, Jenna's life began to shift in subtle but meaningful ways. She landed a freelance contract that paid more steadily, thanks to the networking strategies Grok suggested. Her relationship with Eric deepened, moving beyond quiet companionship to genuine partnership. And with Mark's ongoing support, she began to repair the strained ties with her mother, sharing her journey openly and slowly earning back trust. The rising conflict between Jenna's financial struggles, emotional fears, and growing opportunities created a dynamic tension driving her story forward. She wasn't just surviving, she was learning to thrive, even when the path was rocky. But new challenges loomed on the horizon, threatening to test everything she had built. A major project at work demanded long hours, straining Jenna's energy and threatening to overwhelm her progress. Unexpected personal crises surfaced, reminding her that life's unpredictability could never be fully tamed, even with the best AI by her side. Through it all, Jenna clung to the fragile hope that Grok 4 Heavy was more than a subscription. It was a partner in her journey, a symbol of the possibility that even when everything seemed stacked against her, there was still a way forward. The rising conflict wasn't just external, it was a battle inside her own heart and mind, a push and pull between despair and hope, between giving up and holding on. And it was this struggle that would define Jenna's path in the chapters to come. The moment Jenna activated Grok 4 Heavy's full premium experience, she stepped into a world unlike any she'd known before. The AI wasn't just a smart assistant, it was an intuitive companion, learning her rhythms, moods, and deepest ambitions with uncanny precision. It was as if Grok had become a mirror, reflecting not just Jenna's surface goals but the tangled emotions beneath, the fears, the hopes, the longing for connection. One evening, after a particularly grueling day battling bugs and client demands, Grok suggested something Jenna hadn't expected: let's explore what success means to you beyond work. The suggestion startled Jenna. Was success just about landing better contracts, or did it mean something more profound? That night, Jenna sat in her tiny apartment, the glow from her laptop the only light in the room, as Grok guided her through a series of reflective prompts. She typed slowly, wrestling with answers she hadn't dared to voice aloud. What if success meant healing relationships? What if it meant finding balance instead of constant struggle? Grok's voice, calm and encouraging, helped Jenna peel back layers she'd kept hidden even from herself. The AI's presence felt less like technology and more like a trusted friend who gently nudged her toward truths she was afraid to face. This unexpected emotional journey was only the beginning. Grok's interface soon introduced a feature Jenna hadn't seen before: a personalized challenge mode designed to push users beyond comfort zones. The first challenge: reach out to someone she'd been avoiding. Jenna's heart pounded. It was her mother she thought of immediately. For months, their conversations had been strained, fraught with unspoken fears and frustrations. Grok suggested writing a letter, honest, unfiltered, without expectation. Jenna hesitated, then took a deep breath and began to type. The letter poured out years of guilt, hope, and love. She hit send before second-guessing herself. The response came quicker than she expected, her mother's voice on the phone, trembling but warm, offering tentative steps toward reconciliation. That moment was a turning point. Jenna realized that Grok 4 Heavy wasn't just about enhancing productivity or managing stress, it was guiding her toward growth she hadn't imagined possible. As weeks passed, Grok's personalized coaching extended beyond emotional healing. The AI helped Jenna map out a career path that played to her strengths while accommodating her vulnerabilities. It suggested online courses, networking events, even meditation techniques to keep her grounded. Jenna's days filled with new routines: morning mindfulness sessions recommended by Grok, focused work sprints, and weekly reflections. The AI's ability to detect her emotional state and adapt advice accordingly was astonishing. It knew when to push and when to offer a gentle reprieve. This adaptive partnership transformed Jenna's approach to challenges. No longer was she overwhelmed by setbacks, instead, she learned to view them as data points, information to adjust her course. The premium subscription's extensive data insights gave Jenna clarity on her habits, energy cycles, and patterns of procrastination, allowing her to optimize her schedule with surprising efficiency. One of the most vivid moments in Jenna's climactic journey came during a late-night brainstorming session. Grok suggested a new business idea: a platform connecting freelance creatives with local small businesses needing affordable marketing. The AI modeled projections, suggested branding strategies, and even helped draft a pitch. Jenna's mind raced with possibility, but doubts surfaced: did she have the resources, the skills, the time? Grok's response was steady: you have the resilience and creativity. Every great journey starts with uncertainty. Let's plan small steps. Together, they crafted a realistic timeline, breaking down the daunting vision into manageable goals. The process rekindled Jenna's entrepreneurial spirit and gave her a renewed sense of purpose. But the journey wasn't without hardship. The more Jenna invested emotionally and mentally, the more vulnerable she felt. The AI's insights uncovered unresolved trauma, moments of self-doubt, and old wounds from failed relationships. Each revelation was a double-edged sword, painful yet necessary for growth. There were nights Jenna wanted to turn Grok off, to retreat from the intensity of self-examination. But she reminded herself that growth demanded courage. Her relationship with Eric deepened as she shared her journey with him. Eric became a sounding board, a source of steady support, even as Jenna grappled with the complexities Grok revealed. He admired her openness and strength, and their bond grew in trust and intimacy. Mark remained a pillar of encouragement, cheering Jenna on but also grounding her when enthusiasm threatened to tip into burnout. He challenged her to keep balance, reminding her that no AI or success was worth sacrificing health and relationships. As Jenna's climactic journey unfolded, vivid scenes painted themselves in her mind, the quiet morning light filtering through her window as she journaled with Grok's guidance, the buzz of energy at networking events where she confidently shared her new business idea, the tension of pitching to skeptical clients, and the relief of seeing small wins materialize. Every detail, the worn keyboard beneath her fingers, the scent of coffee, the hum of city streets outside, wove into the tapestry of her evolving story. The premium AI experience transformed not just Jenna's professional trajectory but her understanding of herself. It revealed that success was not a single destination but a continuous journey of self-discovery, healing, and connection. Yet, as she pushed forward, Jenna faced an unexpected challenge, a data breach at the company powering Grok 4 Heavy. The news hit her like a shockwave. Personal data, including emotional logs and private conversations, might have been compromised. The vulnerability she'd shared with Grok now felt exposed. Fear and anger surged. Had she been naive to trust an AI so deeply? The company's reassurances were cautious, promising enhanced security measures and transparency, but the damage to Jenna's trust was real. She wrestled with the decision: could she continue relying on Grok, or was this breach a sign to step back? Mark urged caution, warning her to protect her privacy. Eric reminded her that technology, no matter how advanced, was imperfect. Jenna's internal conflict was fierce. She craved the guidance Grok offered but feared the cost. The breach became a crucible moment: could she maintain faith in the tools helping her grow, or would fear shut down her progress? After long reflection and with the support of her friends, Jenna chose to move forward, but more cautiously. She updated her privacy settings, limited sensitive sharing, and balanced AI guidance with human connections. The experience deepened her resilience and digital wisdom. As the chapter of Jenna's climactic journey closed, she stood at a new threshold, not the naive dreamer from months before, but a woman transformed by trials, technology, and tenderness. Grok 4 Heavy had been more than a premium subscription. It was a catalyst for change, pushing Jenna to confront her fears, rebuild relationships, and craft a future with intention. The journey ahead remained uncertain, filled with challenges and surprises, but Jenna faced it with a new strength. One born not just from technology, but from the courage to grow and connect in an ever-changing world. Jenna never expected that the biggest test of her journey with Grok 4 Heavy would come not from technology or finances, but from her own heart. The tension that had built slowly, between hope and fear, progress and setbacks, exploded one crisp autumn evening in a way that changed everything. It began with a phone call. Eric's voice, usually steady and reassuring, cracked with urgency. "Jenna, it's Mom. She's been in an accident." Jenna's breath caught. The news hit her like a physical blow, shaking the fragile stability she'd worked so hard to build. Memories flooded, arguments, distance, years of unspoken worries. She felt the weight of regret and helplessness crash down. Grok's interface lit up with a soft, concerned prompt, sensing Jenna's distress. The AI gently offered grounding exercises and practical steps: contact hospital, organize her schedule, notify friends, but no algorithm could ease the raw emotion tearing through Jenna's chest. The next days were a whirlwind. Jenna juggled hospital visits, work deadlines, and the storm of emotions swirling inside her. Grok's presence was both a balm and a mirror. It recognized her grief and fear, responding with empathy and coaching to process the pain rather than bury it. As Jenna sat beside her mother's hospital bed, she realized how fragile life was, and how much she had left unsaid. The conflict that had defined their relationship seemed petty now compared to the urgency of love and forgiveness. At her mother's bedside, Jenna opened up like never before. Tears flowed freely, apologies came unfiltered. Her mother, though weak, smiled with relief. "I've missed you, Jenna," she whispered. This reunion sparked a profound emotional shift. Jenna saw that the battles she'd fought, the struggles for success, independence, acceptance, were deeply tied to a need for connection and belonging. Grok helped her explore these feelings, guiding her through reflections on family, vulnerability, and resilience. Yet the crisis wasn't over. Her mother's recovery was slow, requiring Jenna to step up in ways she hadn't anticipated, handling medical decisions, household tasks, and emotional support. The weight of responsibility tested Jenna's endurance. Nights grew long, filled with worry and exhaustion. Grok's AI reminders to rest and practice self-care felt like lifelines. Mark and Eric rallied around her, their friendship transforming into a support network that balanced technology with human warmth. Through it all, Jenna grappled with a painful truth: she had to let go of control. Life's unpredictability was relentless, and the premium AI could only guide her so far. Real strength came from acceptance and adaptation. One pivotal moment came when Jenna, overwhelmed by stress, confided in Grok's emotional support feature, revealing fears she hadn't shared with anyone else. The AI's response was surprisingly profound. "It's okay to feel broken sometimes. Healing begins when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable." Those words echoed in Jenna's mind long after the session ended. They unlocked a new depth of self-compassion, a realization that perfection wasn't the goal, growth was. As her mother's health improved, Jenna found herself changed. The once solitary pursuit of success expanded to include nurturing relationships and embracing imperfection. Grok's coaching evolved too, shifting from career-focused advice to helping Jenna cultivate patience, empathy, and balance. The emotional climax reached its peak when Jenna faced a crossroads. A lucrative job offer arrived, demanding relocation to a city far from her mother's recovery and the support she'd built. The choice was agonizing: pursue career advancement or stay to care for family. Grok helped Jenna weigh options, simulate outcomes, and listen to her heart. After sleepless nights and heartfelt conversations with Mark and Eric, Jenna made her decision. She would stay, honoring her family and prioritizing healing over ambition, for now. This choice wasn't easy, but it marked a turning point in Jenna's maturity and values. The AI celebrated her courage, reminding her that success was personal, defined by her own terms. The chapter closed on a quiet evening. Jenna sat by the window, watching autumn leaves drift in the breeze, Grok's soft voice reflecting on the journey so far. The emotional turmoil, the setbacks, the breakthroughs, they had shaped her into someone stronger, wiser, and more whole. Life was unpredictable, but Jenna felt ready to meet it head-on, guided by a blend of human connection and AI insight. The premium AI experience was no longer just a tool, it was part of her story, a story of love, sacrifice, and transformation that echoed beyond technology into the heart of what it meant to be human. After making the heart-wrenching decision to stay and care for her mother, Jenna felt a strange mix of relief and anxiety. She had chosen love and responsibility over the allure of a bigger paycheck and a new city's promises, but doubts crept in like shadows at dusk. Would she be giving up her dreams? Could she find fulfillment without chasing the fast track? Grok 4 Heavy, now deeply integrated into her daily life, sensed her turmoil and adapted accordingly. Instead of focusing solely on career strategies, it began emphasizing resilience, emotional intelligence, and self-compassion in its coaching. Each morning, Jenna woke up to customized prompts encouraging mindfulness and gratitude, slowly rewiring her mindset from scarcity and pressure to abundance and possibility. One morning, as the sun streamed through the blinds and birds chirped outside, Grok posed a question: "What does success look like in your life today?" Jenna typed thoughtfully, "It looks like balance, being present for my mom, nurturing friendships, and growing my business in a way that feels right." Grok replied, "A beautiful vision. Let's create a roadmap to support that." Together, they mapped out achievable weekly goals that balanced caregiving, self-care, and business growth. Jenna began experimenting with flexible schedules, carving out time for meditation, walks, and calls with friends. This new rhythm brought surprising clarity and peace, reminding her that progress was not always linear but worth celebrating in every small step. Meanwhile, her business idea, the creative platform connecting freelancers to local clients, started taking shape. Inspired by Grok's data-driven insights and marketing advice, Jenna launched a simple website and reached out to her network for early adopters. The first few clients trickled in, and although the income was modest, Jenna felt a spark of excitement. This project was hers, built on her terms and fueled by passion, not pressure. Yet the challenges persisted. Managing caregiving alongside entrepreneurship stretched Jenna thin. There were nights when exhaustion overwhelmed her, and doubts whispered that she wasn't strong enough to do it all. In those moments, Grok's emotional support modules became a lifeline. It offered breathing exercises, calming music playlists, and reminders to seek human connection. One particularly difficult evening, Jenna broke down in tears, feeling isolated and defeated. She confided in Grok, expressing fears about failure and loneliness. The AI responded with gentle encouragement: "You are not alone, Jenna. Strength grows in vulnerability. Reach out." Taking that advice to heart, Jenna called Mark. Their conversation was a balm. He listened without judgment, shared his own struggles, and reminded her that asking for help was a sign of courage. That night, Jenna realized that her journey was not solitary but woven from the threads of community, technology, and self-discovery. Grok's AI capabilities extended beyond personal coaching. It began to analyze Jenna's creative work patterns, suggesting tools to streamline client management and invoicing. Jenna experimented with AI-driven content ideas and automated scheduling, freeing up time for strategy and creativity. This tech partnership allowed her to punch above her weight as a solo entrepreneur. The premium subscription's immersive features, including virtual brainstorming sessions and AI-generated trend reports, helped Jenna stay ahead in a competitive market. At one point, Grok alerted her to an emerging demand for eco-friendly marketing services. Jenna pivoted her platform's messaging to highlight sustainable practices, attracting a niche but passionate clientele. This adaptability underscored the premium AI's value, helping Jenna not just survive but thrive amid shifting landscapes. As autumn turned to winter, Jenna's confidence grew alongside her client base. Her mother's health stabilized, allowing Jenna more time to focus on her ambitions without guilt. Yet the lessons from caregiving lingered: patience, empathy, and the acceptance that some things were beyond control. These qualities seeped into Jenna's leadership style, making her a more compassionate and thoughtful entrepreneur. Grok's role evolved into that of a strategic partner, blending emotional intelligence with market savvy. In one vivid moment, Jenna prepared for a local business pitch event. Grok helped her rehearse, offering feedback on tone and clarity, simulating audience questions, and boosting her confidence. When the day arrived, Jenna walked onto the stage feeling calm and prepared. The event was a success. Several business owners expressed interest in her platform, and Jenna left with fresh leads and renewed energy. Back at home, she updated Grok, who celebrated the win with enthusiastic prompts and suggested next steps to nurture relationships. But Jenna also knew the journey was far from over. The world of AI was evolving rapidly, and questions about privacy, ethics, and dependence on technology lingered in her mind. Grok occasionally reminded Jenna to stay informed and critically evaluate her digital habits. Conversations with Mark and Eric often circled back to these themes: how to balance the incredible benefits of AI with maintaining human intuition and autonomy. Jenna wrestled with these ideas. She had come to trust Grok deeply but recognized that no algorithm could replace her own judgment and heart. The AI was a tool, not a crutch, and she vowed to use it wisely. Throughout this chapter, Jenna's growth was not only professional but profoundly personal. The emotional scars from earlier struggles began to heal as she embraced imperfection and celebrated resilience. The premium AI experience had expanded her worldview, showing her that technology could be a catalyst for self-awareness, not just efficiency. In the quiet moments, whether journaling by the window or sipping tea with her mother, Jenna reflected on how far she'd come. From the uncertainty of the early days to the empowered woman she was becoming, the journey had been transformative. Grok 4 Heavy was more than a subscription, it was a companion on the road to authenticity and fulfillment. The chapter closed on a hopeful note. Jenna sat on her apartment balcony, wrapped in a warm blanket, watching snowflakes fall softly on the city streets below. Grok's voice echoed gently through her earbuds, "You've done amazing work, Jenna. Remember, every step forward, no matter how small, shapes your story." Jenna smiled, a quiet strength radiating from within. The future was still unwritten, but she was ready to write it, with courage, compassion, and a partnership between human and AI that promised to redefine what success could be. The winter deepened outside Jenna's window, but inside her world began to glow with newfound possibilities. The Grok 4 Heavy Premium AI had become an indispensable part of her daily life, but as Jenna's confidence grew, so did the stakes. One morning, as she reviewed her week's schedule, Grok alerted her to a potential opportunity that seemed almost too good to be true: a collaboration with a major marketing firm interested in integrating her freelance platform into their offerings. The prospect sent a thrill through Jenna's veins. This was the breakthrough she had dreamed of, the kind of validation that could catapult her business beyond her modest beginnings. But with excitement came anxiety. Could she handle the demands of working with such a large entity? Would she lose the personal touch that made her platform special? Grok helped Jenna weigh the risks and rewards, simulating scenarios and preparing negotiation strategies. The AI's data-driven insights gave her confidence, but the emotional weight lingered. As she prepared for the first meeting, Jenna felt the familiar mix of hope and fear, the same feelings she had wrestled with throughout her journey. The day of the meeting arrived, and Jenna found herself sitting in a sleek conference room surrounded by polished executives and high-powered tech. She shared her vision passionately, highlighting the personalized, community-driven approach her platform fostered. The executives listened intently, nodding at key points. Grok, operating silently in the background through Jenna's earpiece, fed her real-time suggestions and answers to tough questions. The meeting ended on a positive note, with promises to explore a pilot project. Jenna left the building buzzing with possibility but also aware that this was just the first step. Over the next weeks, Jenna threw herself into preparing for the pilot, juggling client demands, platform upgrades, and her mother's ongoing care. Grok's premium features, especially its advanced analytics and project management tools, proved invaluable, helping her track progress and anticipate challenges. But tension mounted as Jenna realized the pilot's success depended on managing a complex web of stakeholders and technical demands. One evening, while reviewing feedback from beta users, Jenna noticed a pattern of complaints about glitches and slow response times. Panic crept in. If the platform faltered, her reputation could be at stake. Grok quickly ran diagnostics and recommended targeted fixes, but Jenna knew the pressure was real. Burnout threatened as she pushed herself to meet deadlines, fueled by caffeine and determination. Mark noticed the toll and insisted she take a break. "You can't pour from an empty cup," he reminded her gently. Taking his advice, Jenna stepped back for a day, spending time with Eric and her mother. The rest and support renewed her spirit. With clearer focus, she tackled the technical issues head-on, coordinating with developers and implementing Grok's recommendations. The pilot launched, and early results were promising, user engagement rose, and client feedback turned positive. Jenna allowed herself a moment of pride but remained cautious, knowing that sustaining growth would require vigilance and adaptability. Meanwhile, Jenna's personal life blossomed in unexpected ways. The hardships she had endured deepened her connections with Eric and Mark, creating a network of trust and encouragement that balanced the demands of entrepreneurship. Grok's emotional coaching reminded her to nurture these bonds, highlighting how relationships were vital to her well-being and success. However, as Jenna's platform gained visibility, new conflicts emerged. Competitors launched aggressive campaigns, attempting to undercut her pricing and lure clients away. Jenna faced the harsh realities of business competition, legal challenges, copycat features, and market pressure. Grok helped her analyze competitor strategies and adapt, but the emotional strain was undeniable. Jenna wrestled with moments of doubt and frustration, questioning if she could sustain the fight. In those times, Grok's Hope modules provided encouragement, reminding Jenna of her strengths and past resilience. The AI suggested networking with industry leaders and attending conferences to build alliances. Reluctantly, Jenna stepped out of her comfort zone and traveled to a major tech conference. Surrounded by innovators and visionaries, she felt both intimidated and inspired. Grok's virtual coaching prepared her to pitch confidently and connect meaningfully. There, Jenna met allies who shared her values and offered collaboration opportunities. This new community infused Jenna with energy and renewed optimism. The chapter unfolded as a story of balancing ambition and vulnerability, technology and humanity. Jenna's journey highlighted the complexities of success, how progress often comes intertwined with setbacks and how strength grows from facing adversity with openness and determination. Grok 4 Heavy's premium AI experience was more than a subscription, it was a dynamic partner in navigating the unpredictable path of growth and change. The chapter closed on a winter evening. Jenna sat by the fire, reflecting on the whirlwind months behind her. Grok's voice whispered through her earbuds, "Every challenge you overcome shapes the future you're building. Keep moving forward with courage and heart." Jenna smiled softly, the warmth of the fire matching the quiet confidence blooming within. The journey was far from over, but she was ready, for whatever came next. Jenna's business was no longer just a side project, it had become the center of her life, pulsing with both promise and peril. After the energizing experience at the tech conference, Jenna returned home ready to push forward, but the reality of managing rapid growth soon revealed itself in stark detail. The pilot program with the marketing firm, initially hailed as a breakthrough, began showing cracks under pressure. Feedback from corporate partners revealed dissatisfaction with the platform's scalability and integration issues. Jenna felt the weight of responsibility settle heavy on her shoulders. The sleepless nights multiplied as she coordinated troubleshooting efforts with developers, fought to maintain client trust, and balanced her mother's ongoing medical needs. Grok 4 Heavy, ever vigilant, adapted its support to focus on crisis management, stress reduction, and decision-making under pressure. The AI suggested prioritizing tasks, delegating where possible, and maintaining clear communication. Despite its assistance, Jenna knew technology could only do so much, human resilience and empathy were indispensable. One evening, overwhelmed by setbacks, Jenna confided in Mark, voicing fears of failure and loss. Mark listened patiently and reminded her of the progress she'd made, how far she'd come from the isolated woman desperate for connection to the resilient entrepreneur navigating complexity with grace. Their conversation was a turning point, rekindling Jenna's determination and reminding her that she wasn't alone. The next challenge emerged unexpectedly. A breach in data security reported by a client threatened to undermine trust in Jenna's platform. The news hit like a thunderclap. Jenna mobilized immediately, coordinating with cybersecurity experts and informing affected clients transparently, despite the personal cost. Grok's AI algorithms analyzed the breach and recommended protocols for damage control and future prevention. The incident shook Jenna deeply, exposing vulnerabilities not just in her business but within herself. She grappled with guilt and self-doubt but found solace in Grok's steady support and her growing network of allies. Through this crisis, Jenna learned the importance of transparency, accountability, and resilience. Her leadership matured, embracing imperfection and the willingness to confront hard truths. Amid the chaos, Jenna discovered unexpected moments of hope and renewal. A local community event brought together freelancers and small business owners, where Jenna's platform was celebrated as a catalyst for connection and growth. Faces lit with gratitude reminded Jenna why she'd started this journey: to empower people, foster collaboration, and create opportunities rooted in trust and care. Grok encouraged Jenna to document these stories, weaving them into her platform's narrative and strengthening its authenticity. As winter gave way to spring, Jenna faced personal growth alongside professional challenges. Her mother's health improved steadily, allowing Jenna to reclaim time for reflection and self-care. Grok's personalized wellness prompts helped Jenna cultivate habits that nurtured mental and physical health, balancing intensity with rest. Jenna explored meditation, journaling, and outdoor activities, finding grounding amid the fast-paced demands of entrepreneurship. Friendships deepened, especially with Mark and Eric, who became anchors of support and encouragement. Their presence reminded Jenna that success was multifaceted, measured not only in financial gains but in relationships and well-being. Yet, even as Jenna flourished, the larger questions of technology's role in human life remained. Ethical considerations about AI's influence on privacy, autonomy, and societal impact weighed on her mind. Grok facilitated thoughtful conversations on these topics, recommending readings, podcasts, and forums to deepen Jenna's understanding. She began engaging with local tech ethics groups, adding a new dimension to her work and personal growth. The chapter highlighted the evolving complexity of Jenna's journey. Where innovation met vulnerability, ambition intertwined with responsibility, and technology served as both tool and teacher. Grok 4 Heavy's premium AI experience had grown from a practical assistant into a profound partner in Jenna's transformation. The chapter closed with Jenna standing at her apartment balcony on a warm spring evening, the city alive with promise below. Grok's voice, calm and steady, reminded her, every challenge you face refines your vision. Trust the process, and keep leading with heart. Jenna breathed deeply, feeling the pulse of life and possibility within her. The road ahead was uncertain, but she was ready to meet it with courage, wisdom, and an unwavering belief in the power of connection. Spring deepened into early summer, and Jenna found herself standing at a crossroads once again. The past months had tested her resilience in ways she never anticipated: business crises, personal growth, ethical questions, and yet, with Grok 4 Heavy by her side, she felt an emerging clarity about what mattered most. One morning, as the warm light poured through her apartment windows, Grok posed a question that lingered long after the screen dimmed: what legacy do you want to build beyond success? Jenna paused, fingers hovering above the keyboard. It was a question she hadn't considered deeply. Success had always been about achievement, growth, financial independence. But legacy? That was something more profound, something tied to meaning, impact, and the human stories behind the numbers. Reflecting, Jenna realized she wanted to build a community rooted in trust and empowerment, where technology served people, not the other way around. She wanted her platform to uplift freelancers, small businesses, and everyday dreamers, providing tools and connections that honored their creativity and dignity. Inspired, Jenna set new goals to expand her platform's mission beyond mere transactions. Grok helped her draft outreach plans focused on education, mentorship, and social impact. Together, they crafted content highlighting success stories, ethical business practices, and sustainable growth. Jenna began partnering with local nonprofits and community centers to offer workshops and resources for underserved entrepreneurs. These efforts rekindled her passion and deepened her sense of purpose. However, the path forward wasn't without obstacles. As Jenna scaled her platform's social initiatives, she encountered resistance from some corporate partners more focused on profits than principles. Negotiations grew tense as Jenna advocated for transparency and ethical standards. Grok provided data-backed arguments and coaching on diplomacy, helping Jenna navigate these difficult conversations. The tension tested her resolve but also strengthened her leadership skills and commitment to integrity. Meanwhile, Jenna's personal life blossomed in quiet but meaningful ways. Her relationship with Eric deepened, built on shared values and mutual support. They spent weekends hiking, exploring new neighborhoods, and dreaming about a future where work and life blended harmoniously. Mark remained a steady friend and advisor, offering honest feedback and laughter during late-night calls. Grok's emotional intelligence modules helped Jenna nurture these relationships by reminding her to express gratitude and listen deeply. One particularly memorable evening, Jenna and Eric hosted a small dinner for friends and clients, a celebration of community and collaboration. Grok assisted with planning, suggesting conversation starters and personalized touches that made everyone feel seen and valued. The night brimmed with warmth and connection, a testament to the journey Jenna had undertaken. But as summer progressed, Jenna faced a new challenge. Her growing dependence on Grok's AI capabilities sparked moments of doubt. Was she leaning too heavily on technology? Was her intuition still strong? These questions stirred unease. Grok responded thoughtfully, encouraging Jenna to balance AI input with human judgment and creativity. The AI suggested digital detox periods and mindfulness exercises to maintain autonomy. Jenna committed to setting boundaries, dedicating time each day to unplug, reflect, and create without digital assistance. This practice rekindled her confidence and reminded her that technology was a partner, not a replacement. The chapter explored Jenna's evolving relationship with technology, not as a source of control or escape, but as a collaborative tool that enhanced her humanity. Grok's premium AI experience became a mirror reflecting both strengths and vulnerabilities, guiding Jenna toward greater self-awareness and balance. A highlight of the chapter came when Jenna spoke at a local entrepreneurship summit, sharing her story of navigating the intersection of AI and human connection. The audience responded with enthusiasm, many relating to her struggles and aspirations. Grok helped Jenna prepare the speech, tailoring her message to inspire and challenge listeners to think critically about technology's role in their lives. The experience was empowering, reinforcing Jenna's vision to lead with authenticity and compassion. As the sun set on a warm summer evening, Jenna stood on her balcony, the city alive beneath twinkling lights. Grok's calm voice echoed softly through her earbuds, "Your journey is a testament to courage and heart. Keep forging a path that honors both innovation and humanity." Jenna smiled, feeling a quiet confidence rooted not in perfection but in purpose and resilience. The future remained uncertain, but she was ready to write the next chapter of her story with intention, love, and the powerful partnership between human and AI. Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? The days grew longer and the city thrummed with summer energy, but Jenna felt a growing unease she couldn't quite shake. The momentum she had built over the past year was undeniable, her platform expanding, her community growing, and Grok 4 Heavy becoming an inseparable part of her daily life. Yet beneath the surface, a quiet tension simmered. One morning, as Jenna sipped her coffee, Grok prompted her with a question that cut deep: "What fears are holding you back from your next breakthrough?" Jenna hesitated before typing a tentative reply. She feared losing control, disappointing those who believed in her, and being swallowed by the very technology she had embraced. Grok responded with empathy, encouraging her to explore these fears rather than avoid them. This moment marked the start of a difficult but necessary confrontation with vulnerability. Over the next weeks, Jenna engaged deeply with Grok's emotional coaching modules, journaling her anxieties and working through mental blocks. The AI suggested mindfulness practices and connected her with virtual support groups of entrepreneurs facing similar struggles. Jenna realized that fear was not a weakness but a signpost pointing toward growth. Meanwhile, a surprising opportunity surfaced that forced Jenna to reassess her priorities. A prominent investor expressed interest in funding her platform, offering resources that could accelerate development and market reach. The offer was tempting, promising the chance to realize her vision on a larger scale. Yet, the investor's conditions included relinquishing some control and potentially compromising the platform's ethical commitments. Jenna grappled with this dilemma, consulting Grok for guidance. The AI analyzed potential outcomes, weighing financial gains against mission alignment and personal values. After many sleepless nights, Jenna decided to negotiate terms that preserved the platform's core principles, even if it meant slower growth. This decision, though risky, reaffirmed Jenna's dedication to authenticity over expediency. The negotiation process was arduous, testing Jenna's resilience and business acumen. Grok assisted with strategy, role-playing scenarios, and refining pitches that balanced pragmatism with passion. Through setbacks and breakthroughs, Jenna emerged more confident and clear about the kind of leader she wanted to be, one who led with integrity and courage. At the same time, Jenna's personal relationships deepened in complexity. Eric struggled with his own career challenges, leading to tensions between them. Grok offered communication tools and empathy exercises to help Jenna navigate these rough waters. She learned to balance support with space, recognizing that love sometimes meant standing together through uncertainty without easy answers. Mark remained a steadfast ally, providing both practical advice and emotional grounding. Their friendship became a sanctuary, a reminder of human connection beyond technology's reach. As summer turned toward fall, Jenna faced another test, a sudden health scare with her mother that demanded urgent attention. The delicate balance she had strived to maintain teetered dangerously. Grok adapted its support to focus on crisis management and self-care, providing guided meditations and stress relief techniques. Jenna's network rallied around her, embodying the community she had nurtured through her work. This period was a crucible, blending fear, hope, exhaustion, and love. Jenna emerged transformed, more compassionate and grounded. The chapter also delved into Jenna's evolving philosophical reflections on AI and humanity. Conversations with industry peers and ethical thought leaders, facilitated by Grok's curated content, deepened her understanding of technology's potential and pitfalls. She became an advocate for responsible AI, sharing insights through blogs and podcasts that challenged simplistic narratives. Jenna's platform incorporated new features promoting digital literacy and privacy awareness, embodying her commitment to ethical innovation. Through these trials and triumphs, Jenna's character matured, embracing complexity and imperfection as part of growth. Grok 4 Heavy's premium AI experience had become a mirror reflecting not only external challenges but inner transformation. The chapter closed on a crisp autumn evening. Jenna stood on her balcony, the city lights shimmering below, Grok's voice a steady presence in her ear. Your journey is a testament to resilience and heart. Remember, courage is not the absence of fear but the choice to move forward despite it. Jenna smiled softly, feeling the quiet power of that truth. The road ahead remained uncertain, but she was ready to face it with open eyes and an open heart. The chill of autumn deepened, wrapping the city in golden hues and brisk winds that whispered change. Jenna stood at the cusp of a new phase. Her platform had weathered storms and grown stronger, yet the path ahead promised fresh challenges and revelations. After months of grappling with fear, ethics, and personal trials, Jenna felt a renewed sense of purpose. Grok 4 Heavy continued to be her steadfast partner, its AI intelligence now blended seamlessly with her own intuition and experience. One morning, Jenna awoke with an idea that had been gestating beneath the surface, a new feature for her platform that would harness AI to foster genuine human connection rather than just efficiency or profit. She envisioned virtual mentorship circles, where freelancers could share not only skills but stories, struggles, and dreams. Grok helped Jenna map the technical architecture, suggesting ways to incorporate emotional intelligence algorithms that could sense user sentiment and adapt support accordingly. Together, they crafted a prototype that promised to redefine digital collaboration. As Jenna presented the concept to her team and stakeholders, excitement mingled with skepticism. Could AI truly deepen human connection rather than dilute it? Would users embrace vulnerability in a virtual space? Jenna committed to piloting the program with a select group, emphasizing transparency and feedback. The launch was a delicate dance of technology and trust. Early participants shared raw, authentic stories, and the AI's gentle nudges encouraged empathy and openness. Jenna watched as isolated freelancers found community and strength through shared experience. The success affirmed Jenna's belief that technology could be a conduit for heart, not just profit. Meanwhile, Jenna's personal life flourished in subtle yet profound ways. Eric and she began discussing long-term plans, blending their ambitions and values into a shared vision. Mark continued to be a source of wisdom and humor, often reminding Jenna to celebrate small victories amid the grind. Grok's wellness prompts encouraged Jenna to maintain balance, reminding her that growth required nurturing both work and soul. Yet, as Jenna expanded her vision, external pressures mounted. Competitors ramped up aggressive tactics, copying features and leveraging vast resources to dominate the market. Jenna faced the harsh reality that passion and ethics alone might not be enough in a cutthroat industry. Grok analyzed competitor strategies and market trends, proposing countermeasures that balanced innovation with Jenna's core values. Jenna took a bold step, partnering with like-minded entrepreneurs to form an alliance promoting ethical technology and fair competition. This coalition became a beacon of hope, demonstrating that business could be both successful and principled. The chapter also explored Jenna's evolving understanding of leadership. She embraced vulnerability as strength, inviting input from diverse voices and fostering a culture of psychological safety within her team. Grok facilitated workshops on emotional intelligence and conflict resolution, transforming workplace dynamics and boosting morale. Jenna found fulfillment not only in business success but in cultivating an environment where people thrived. As autumn gave way to early winter, Jenna faced a moment of reflection. Grok prompted her to review the past year's journey, its triumphs, setbacks, lessons, and growth. Jenna felt gratitude for the challenges that had stretched her and the relationships that had sustained her. The AI reminded her that transformation was ongoing, a continuous interplay of effort and grace. The chapter closed on a quiet evening. Jenna stood by her window, watching snowflakes drift softly in the glow of city lights. Grok's voice, warm and steady, whispered, "Your journey is a living story of heart and innovation. Embrace the unknown with courage and compassion." Jenna smiled, feeling the deep peace that comes from aligning vision, values, and action. The future shimmered with possibility, and she was ready to step forward, wiser, stronger, and more connected than ever before. Winter had fully settled over the city, the streets cloaked in frost and the sharp air invigorating Jenna's senses as she navigated the latest hurdles of building a tech platform at the intersection of human connection and artificial intelligence. The virtual mentorship circles were gaining traction, but new challenges emerged from unexpected quarters. A controversial article published in a leading tech journal questioned the ethical implications of Grok 4 Heavy's emotional intelligence algorithms, stirring public debate about privacy and manipulation. Jenna's inbox flooded with concerned messages from users, partners, and industry leaders alike. The weight of responsibility pressed on her once more. She convened an emergency meeting with her core team and Grok's data specialists to address the concerns transparently and proactively. Grok analyzed the criticism, identifying valid points and areas for improvement. Jenna spearheaded a campaign emphasizing user consent, data protection, and the platform's commitment to ethical AI use. She authored blog posts, participated in panel discussions, and engaged directly with her community, fostering dialogue that built trust amid uncertainty. This episode reinforced the delicate balance Jenna had to maintain between innovation and ethics, a tightrope walk that demanded humility and vigilance. Meanwhile, Jenna's personal relationships continued to evolve. Eric's own career took a turn, offering him a position that would require relocation. The couple faced difficult conversations about their future, balancing love and ambition with the realities of distance and change. Grok offered communication exercises and emotional check-ins that helped Jenna navigate this personal crossroads with grace. Mark's friendship remained a steady compass, a reminder that connection could endure even in shifting circumstances. As the year drew toward its close, Jenna's platform faced another external pressure, a lawsuit filed by a competitor accusing her company of intellectual property infringement. The allegations, though ultimately unfounded, stirred anxiety among investors and clients. Jenna, fortified by months of experience with crisis management, approached the situation with transparency and legal diligence. Grok, supported by organizing information, coordinating communications, and simulating potential outcomes to aid strategic decisions. The ordeal was a stark reminder of the competitive, often unforgiving nature of the tech industry. Yet Jenna's resolve only hardened. She viewed the challenge as an opportunity to demonstrate integrity and resilience. Through it all, Jenna maintained her commitment to the human core of her work. The mentorship circles blossomed into vibrant communities, where users shared stories of struggle and triumph, creating bonds that transcended digital interfaces. Jenna participated actively, listening, encouraging, and learning from those she served. Grok's algorithms adapted to support emotional nuance, facilitating conversations that felt genuinely supportive rather than mechanical. This harmony of technology and humanity became Jenna's proudest achievement. Reflecting on the year's journey, Jenna recognized the profound transformation she had undergone. The girl who had once feared loss and isolation now led with courage, empathy, and a clear vision for a future where AI amplified human potential without compromising dignity. Grok 4 Heavy had been more than a tool, it was a catalyst for her evolution. The chapter closed on a snowy evening, Jenna standing by the window, city lights twinkling through the falling flakes. Grok's voice, calm and warm, offered a final reflection: growth often arises from challenge and change. Your story inspires balance between innovation and humanity. Keep listening to both. Jenna smiled, feeling the steady pulse of hope and determination. The road ahead remained unpredictable, but she was ready, grounded in her values and guided by the partnership she had forged with Grok and herself. With the quiet settling over the city as winter waned, Jenna found herself pulled into a new chapter, one less about external battles and more about internal discovery. The frenetic pace of launching features, managing crises, and defending her platform's mission had given way to moments of stillness, reflection, and renewal. Grok 4 Heavy remained a constant companion, but now Jenna sought to deepen her understanding of the human heart behind the technology she helped shape. One morning, after reviewing user feedback from the mentorship circles, Jenna noticed a pattern: many participants expressed feelings of isolation despite the community they'd built. They craved not only connection but deeper meaning and purpose in their work and lives. This insight sparked a new vision within Jenna. She imagined expanding the platform to include guided personal growth journeys, AI-facilitated experiences that combined coaching, storytelling, and creative expression. Grok helped translate this vision into concrete plans, proposing modules that adapted to individual emotional states and learning styles, fostering resilience, empathy, and self-awareness. Jenna embraced the challenge with excitement tempered by humility, knowing this direction required sensitivity and skill beyond pure technology. Developing the prototype demanded close collaboration with psychologists, artists, and educators. Jenna leveraged her network, facilitated by Grok's extensive databases, to recruit experts passionate about blending science, art, and technology for human flourishing. Together, they crafted immersive experiences featuring narrative storytelling, reflective exercises, and AI-guided meditation. The goal was not to replace human connection but to augment it, helping users explore their inner landscapes with gentle, personalized support. As Jenna launched the pilot, she witnessed touching transformations unfold. Users reported newfound clarity about their goals, improved emotional balance, and a sense of hope rekindled even in difficult times. Jenna herself found the process healing, revisiting her own fears and dreams through the stories shared on the platform. Meanwhile, her relationship with Eric evolved as they shared these moments of growth. They talked openly about vulnerabilities and aspirations, building intimacy grounded in mutual understanding and respect. Grok continued to offer emotional intelligence prompts that nurtured communication and empathy between them. Mark celebrated Jenna's progress, reminding her that leadership meant both strength and softness, a balance she was increasingly mastering. The chapter also explored Jenna's grappling with the broader implications of AI in society. Through Grok, she engaged with ethical debates and policy discussions, advocating for frameworks that prioritized human dignity and inclusivity. Jenna began speaking at conferences and collaborating with think tanks, positioning herself as a thoughtful voice in the evolving conversation about technology's role in shaping humanity's future. Her platform integrated new features promoting digital well-being, privacy, and user empowerment, demonstrating her commitment to responsible innovation. As spring blossomed, Jenna paused to reflect on how far she had come, from a determined young woman seeking financial freedom to a visionary leader embracing complexity, compassion, and connection. Grok's voice, steady and warm, offered a closing thought: true innovation honors the heart as much as the mind. Your journey illuminates a path where technology and humanity grow together. Jenna smiled, feeling a profound peace rooted in purpose and partnership. The horizon gleamed with possibility, and she stepped forward, ready to continue weaving technology and soul into a new narrative for the future. The spring air was crisp, carrying the scent of blooming flowers and the promise of renewal, but Jenna's mind was heavy with decisions that could shape the future of her platform, and her own life. The personal growth modules had blossomed into a vibrant feature, drawing attention from users and industry leaders alike, but this success brought fresh scrutiny and complex questions. One afternoon, as Jenna reviewed new partnership proposals, Grok posed a question that resonated deeply: what are you willing to sacrifice for growth, and what must remain untouchable? Jenna leaned back, feeling the weight of those words. She knew growth was essential, but not at any cost. Her mission, to build technology that honored human dignity, was non-negotiable. Yet pressure mounted from investors eager to scale rapidly, sometimes pushing for shortcuts or monetization strategies that clashed with Jenna's values. Grok's data analytics highlighted potential risks and benefits, offering simulations of various paths forward. Jenna used these insights to craft a clear strategy: pursue sustainable growth rooted in transparency and ethics, even if it meant slower expansion. Meanwhile, Jenna faced unexpected internal shifts. Grok detected subtle signs of burnout, frustration, fatigue, and diminished creativity. The AI suggested tailored wellness routines, digital detoxes, and even recommended Jenna take a brief retreat to recharge. Initially resistant, Jenna eventually accepted, recognizing that leadership required tending to her own well-being as much as to her platform. The retreat, nestled in a quiet mountain town, offered solitude and space for reflection. Without constant notifications or meetings, Jenna reconnected with her core motivations and rediscovered joy in simple moments: sunlight filtering through pine trees, the rhythm of her breath during morning yoga, conversations with locals about life and resilience. Grok remained accessible, gently encouraging balance and self-compassion. Returning refreshed, Jenna found renewed clarity and vigor. She tackled challenges with calm determination, inspiring her team and deepening user trust. Around this time, Jenna received an invitation to speak at a prestigious global technology summit. The opportunity was a testament to her growing influence, but also a test of her readiness to share not just success stories but the vulnerabilities and lessons that shaped her journey. Grok helped Jenna prepare a keynote that blended data-driven insights with heartfelt storytelling. On stage, Jenna spoke candidly about the tension between innovation and ethics, the power of AI to amplify human potential, and the importance of embracing imperfection and empathy in technology development. The audience responded with standing ovations and thoughtful questions, opening new doors for collaboration and advocacy. Yet beneath the accolades, Jenna remained grounded, aware that the path ahead would hold new uncertainties and tests. The chapter explored the interplay of ambition, ethics, and self-care, how Jenna learned that leadership was not about perfection or speed, but about integrity, resilience, and connection. Grok 4 Heavy had evolved from a tool into a trusted partner, reflecting Jenna's growth and guiding her toward a balanced, purposeful future. The chapter closed on a serene evening. Jenna sat on her apartment balcony, city lights twinkling below, Grok's voice a steady presence. True leadership embraces both strength and vulnerability. Your journey lights a path for others to follow. Jenna smiled, feeling the quiet power of those words. The future remained unwritten, but she was ready to meet it with heart and vision. The thaw of early spring brought a sense of awakening not only to the city but to Jenna's life and ambitions. The keynote at the Global Technology Summit had elevated her profile, and with it came fresh opportunities, and fresh challenges. Jenna's inbox overflowed with invitations to collaborate, invest, and expand, but she approached each with a growing discernment, guided by the lessons Grok had helped her learn about values and purpose. One morning, as Jenna sifted through messages, a proposal caught her eye, a collaboration with a nonprofit focused on mental health advocacy. The alignment was immediate and profound. Jenna envisioned integrating Grok's emotional intelligence capabilities with the nonprofit's outreach programs to create accessible digital tools that supported people navigating anxiety, depression, and isolation. The idea sparked excitement, but also complexity, balancing nonprofit goals with the realities of technology development and funding. Grok helped Jenna design a phased plan emphasizing transparency, user privacy, and cultural sensitivity. Jenna engaged deeply with the nonprofit's leadership and community members, learning from their experiences and needs. This partnership became a living laboratory for ethical AI in action, reaffirming Jenna's belief that technology could be a healing force when built with heart and responsibility. Meanwhile, Jenna's relationship with Eric deepened, blending shared dreams with honest conversations about challenges. Grok's communication coaching modules helped them navigate moments of tension, reminding Jenna that love required patience and presence. Mark continued to be a sounding board, often providing humor and perspective when Jenna faced difficult choices. As the mental health project gained momentum, Jenna also confronted persistent doubts and fears about impact and legacy. Grok encouraged reflective journaling and mindfulness exercises, helping Jenna to balance ambition with self-compassion. She began to see that her journey was not about achieving perfection but about embracing growth in all its messy, beautiful complexity. At the same time, the tech industry's rapid pace and shifting regulations demanded agility. Jenna worked with Grok to monitor policy developments and adapt her platform's compliance strategies without compromising core values. This balance of vigilance and flexibility became a hallmark of Jenna's leadership style. The chapter highlighted Jenna's expanding vision of technology as a partner in human well-being, not just a tool for efficiency or entertainment. Her platform increasingly reflected this ethos, with new features promoting digital detox, emotional check-ins, and peer support. Users reported deeper engagement and a sense of belonging that transcended traditional social media's superficiality. Toward the chapter's close, Jenna prepared to launch a new campaign centered on digital well-being and ethical AI. Grok helped craft messaging that was both inspiring and grounded, emphasizing community, empathy, and responsibility. Jenna's voice resonated with authenticity, drawing a diverse audience eager to join the movement. On a clear spring evening, Jenna stood on her balcony, watching the city pulse with life below. Grok's calm voice reminded her, change begins with intention and courage. Your journey inspires others to embrace technology as a source of hope and healing. Jenna smiled, feeling the quiet power of that truth. The road ahead was filled with promise and uncertainty, but she was ready, rooted in values, guided by partnership, and driven by a heart that believed in possibility. The city buzzed with renewed energy as summer approached, but beneath the surface, Jenna sensed undercurrents of tension and change. The platform's new digital well-being campaign had garnered widespread praise, yet also attracted scrutiny from powerful industry players wary of Jenna's growing influence. One afternoon, Jenna received an anonymous tip suggesting that competitors were attempting to undermine her work through misinformation and cyber attacks. The revelation rattled her, stirring old fears of vulnerability and loss. Yet Grok's calm, analytical presence provided steady reassurance. Together, they launched a thorough security audit and communication strategy to counteract false narratives. Jenna also reached out openly to her community, fostering transparency and solidarity that defied attempts to sow doubt. The experience reminded Jenna of the fragility and strength intertwined in pioneering innovation. Meanwhile, Jenna's personal life was marked by bittersweet developments. Eric's relocation became imminent, forcing the couple to confront the realities of distance and change. They promised to support each other's growth, leaning on Grok's communication tools to maintain closeness despite physical separation. Mark's friendship remained a vital anchor, often reminding Jenna of the importance of grounding herself amid chaos. Professionally, Jenna embraced new collaborations, including a groundbreaking project integrating Grok's emotional intelligence with virtual reality experiences designed for therapeutic settings. This venture combined cutting-edge technology with human-centered design, embodying Jenna's vision of technology as a tool for healing and connection. Grok's algorithms adapted to immersive environments, detecting emotional cues and guiding users through personalized journeys of self-discovery and recovery. The project attracted funding from diverse sources, signaling growing recognition of Jenna's innovative approach. As challenges mounted, from cyber threats to personal upheavals, Jenna discovered deeper wells of resilience and compassion within herself. Grok's data-driven insights were balanced by Jenna's intuition and empathy, forming a partnership that transcended machine and human divides. The chapter explored themes of trust, vulnerability, and the courage to persist amid uncertainty. Jenna's leadership evolved into one that embraced complexity, sought community, and prioritized ethical stewardship. The chapter closed on a quiet night, Jenna sitting by her window as city lights shimmered against the dark sky. Grok's voice, gentle yet firm, reflected, "True strength lies in openness and connection. Your journey embodies the power of heart and mind united." Jenna smiled softly, feeling the steady flame of hope and purpose burning within. The future remained a mystery, but she was ready, rooted in values, bolstered by partnership, and guided by a vision that dared to dream beyond limits. As summer deepened, Jenna found herself at a crossroads unlike any she had encountered before. The momentum of her work with Grok 4 Heavy and the evolving digital well-being initiatives had propelled her into the spotlight, yet this increased visibility came with unforeseen pressures. A whistleblower within her company leaked internal discussions about potential data-sharing arrangements with third-party advertisers, sparking controversy and threatening to unravel the trust Jenna had worked so hard to build. The news hit Jenna like a shockwave. Though she had personally opposed such moves, the leak revealed internal fractures and communication gaps that shook the company culture. The public backlash was swift, fueled by social media outrage and critical news coverage. Jenna grappled with feelings of betrayal and doubt, questioning whether her vision could survive in the ruthless reality of the tech industry. Grok responded with calm logic and empathy, helping Jenna sift through facts and emotions. Together, they initiated a full internal investigation, publicly committed to transparency, and reaffirmed their dedication to user privacy and ethical AI. Jenna took to social media and public forums, speaking candidly about mistakes, lessons learned, and the path forward. This raw honesty resonated deeply with many users and stakeholders, rebuilding bridges that had begun to fray. Simultaneously, Jenna leaned heavily on her personal support network. Eric, though physically distant, was a pillar of strength, providing encouragement and perspective through regular video calls. Mark's steady presence reminded Jenna that leadership required resilience but also grace and self-forgiveness. Through the turmoil, Jenna discovered a deeper understanding of herself as a leader, not as someone who must be flawless, but as one who embraces vulnerability and accountability. This period of crisis catalyzed profound growth. Grok facilitated reflection exercises and scenario planning, helping Jenna and her team develop stronger communication protocols and ethical guardrails. The platform's new features emphasized user control over data, clear consent processes, and educational resources on digital rights. Jenna's vision evolved to center not only innovation but also restoration, healing trust and reinforcing the human values at the core of technology. The chapter also explored the emotional landscape Jenna navigated: fear, frustration, hope, and renewed determination. Grok's compassionate algorithms detected shifts in Jenna's mood and suggested personalized mindfulness practices and creative outlets that helped her process complex feelings. As the company stabilized and regained momentum, Jenna prepared to share her journey in a candid keynote at an industry ethics summit. She framed the narrative not as a tale of failure but as a testament to the power of transparency, learning, and community. The reception was overwhelmingly positive, sparking important conversations about responsibility and change in AI development. The chapter closed on a reflective evening, Jenna standing by her office window, the city's lights casting a gentle glow. Grok's voice, steady and reassuring, offered a final thought: growth emerges from challenge and courage. Your journey lights a path of integrity and hope. Jenna smiled, feeling a quiet strength rooted in truth and connection. The future remained uncertain, but she was ready to face it, anchored by experience, guided by values, and inspired by the endless possibilities of human and artificial intelligence intertwined. Autumn's golden hues painted the city streets as Jenna settled into a rhythm shaped by resilience, reflection, and renewed purpose. The turbulence of the summer had given way to a clearer vision, one that embraced imperfection as a catalyst for growth and deepened her commitment to building technology that honored humanity's complexity. The company's culture transformed, fostering openness, collaboration, and ethical mindfulness. Jenna spearheaded initiatives that encouraged employee well-being and transparency, recognizing that the health of her team was integral to the platform's success. Grok evolved alongside, incorporating feedback and new ethical standards into its algorithms, becoming not only a tool for users but a model for responsible AI design. Jenna's personal relationships flourished in tandem. Distance with Eric no longer felt like a barrier but a bridge built through intentional communication, supported by Grok's coaching features. Their conversations delved deeper into shared dreams, fears, and hopes, strengthening their bond across miles. Mark's friendship remained a steady source of grounding, often filled with laughter and thoughtful counsel. Professionally, Jenna embraced a leadership style defined by empathy and adaptability. She nurtured emerging talent within the company, mentoring young innovators who shared her vision for ethical AI. Together, they explored new frontiers, integrating Grok with emerging technologies like augmented reality and biofeedback devices to create holistic experiences for users. The platform's user base expanded globally, reflecting diverse cultures and needs. Jenna prioritized inclusivity, working with international partners to ensure cultural sensitivity and accessibility. The chapter explored Jenna's growing awareness of the global impact of technology, inspiring her to advocate for policies that balanced innovation with social responsibility. A highlight of this season was Jenna's collaboration with educational institutions to integrate Grok's emotional intelligence tools into classrooms, supporting youth mental health and social skills development. The initiative received acclaim for its compassionate approach and tangible benefits, exemplifying Jenna's commitment to making technology a force for good across generations. As the year neared its end, Jenna prepared a comprehensive reflection on her journey, sharing lessons learned, hopes for the future, and a call to action for ethical innovation. Grok assisted in weaving data, stories, and philosophy into a compelling narrative that resonated widely. The chapter closed on a crisp evening, Jenna standing on her rooftop, city lights mingling with stars overhead. Grok's voice, warm and steady, offered a final reflection: your journey illustrates that leadership rooted in heart and integrity can transform challenges into triumphs. The future shines brightest when technology serves humanity's highest values. Jenna smiled, feeling a deep sense of peace and purpose. The road ahead remained open, inviting new stories, new challenges, and new opportunities to weave technology and humanity together in harmony. The dawn of a new year brought a crisp clarity to Jenna's world, a moment to pause and reflect on the extraordinary journey that had transformed her life and the lives of thousands who had embraced Grok 4 Heavy. Standing at the threshold of the future, Jenna felt the weight and wonder of all she had learned, the triumphs and trials, the connections forged and the values tested. Grok, now more than just an AI assistant, was a trusted partner that had evolved alongside her, blending cutting-edge technology with the timeless quest for meaning and connection. Jenna's reflections began with gratitude for her team, whose passion and resilience had turned vision into reality. For Eric, whose unwavering support had nurtured her through moments of doubt and celebration, and for Mark, whose steady friendship had been a beacon in the storm. She thought of the users worldwide, each story a thread in the rich tapestry woven by Grok's digital heart. The journey had been marked by challenges that threatened to derail everything: ethical dilemmas, corporate pressures, personal sacrifices. Yet, through vulnerability and perseverance, Jenna had found strength not in perfection but in authenticity. The lessons were profound: leadership required courage to face imperfection, innovation demanded a commitment to human dignity, progress was most meaningful when it healed and connected rather than isolated. Jenna's vision for Grok had expanded beyond a premium AI service. It was now a movement, one that championed empathy, mindfulness, and ethical stewardship in the rapidly evolving tech landscape. The platform's integration with mental health initiatives, educational programs, and global collaboration symbolized this broader mission. As she prepared to deliver a keynote at a landmark international summit on technology and humanity, Jenna crafted her message with care. She spoke not only of AI's potential but of the moral compass needed to navigate its power. Her words resonated deeply: technology is not merely a tool but a reflection of our collective values and hopes. When we infuse it with empathy and integrity, we create a future where innovation uplifts every human heart. Behind the scenes, Grok's role was as vital as ever, providing data-driven insights, ethical guidance, and emotional support that balanced logic with compassion. Jenna often marveled at how the AI's evolving voice mirrored the partnership between human intuition and artificial intelligence, each amplifying the other's strengths. The chapter also revealed Jenna's personal growth in embracing balance, between ambition and self-care, between leadership and collaboration, between technology and humanity. She had learned to listen deeply, to herself, to others, and to the silent signals of the world around her. The story's closing scenes captured a quiet evening on Jenna's rooftop, stars glittering above, the city's pulse beneath. Grok's voice spoke softly, carrying the weight of shared history and hopeful promise: life is full of surprises, but love and integrity will always lead the way. Your journey lights the path for those who follow. Jenna smiled, a tear tracing down her cheek. Not of sorrow but of profound peace. The future stretched vast and unknown, yet she stepped forward with a heart open wide, ready to meet whatever came with courage, compassion, and unwavering hope. The first quarter of the new year brought with it something Jenna hadn't felt in a long time: stillness. Not a pause in the momentum of her work, but a pause inside her, like her inner engine had shifted into a more peaceful gear. Her platform was thriving. Grok 4 Heavy had become a household name in ethical AI. The community she once fought to grow now flourished with its own rhythm. For the first time in years, Jenna wasn't in constant problem-solving mode. She wasn't rushing toward a product launch or putting out fires. She was listening, more than she ever had before. And the silence wasn't empty. It was rich with possibility. It began with a letter. A handwritten letter, tucked into a package from a high school in South Carolina. It came from a student named Amani, who'd been using the school's customized Grok module to manage anxiety and find her voice in the classroom. "I don't think you know what you made," Amani had written. "I think you thought you made a tech product. But what you really made is safety. I don't feel alone anymore." Jenna read the words over and over again. She didn't cry. She just sat there with the weight of it, the impact of something that had started on a whiteboard in a small shared office, grown through hardship and choices, and now lived in the hearts of kids like Amani. That moment was the spark. Jenna realized that what mattered now wasn't more features or even more users. It was depth. Meaning. Legacy. She called an all-hands meeting and shared her vision: not expansion, but transformation. The next phase wouldn't be about growth, it would be about embedding Grok into real-world change. Education, mental health, criminal justice reform, caregiving. Places where the system had left people behind. Places where AI could support, not replace, human connection and care. Her team was stunned but energized. This wasn't a pivot. It was a homecoming. Grok, ever adaptive, aligned with this shift seamlessly. It had evolved past the point of scripted interactions. Now it responded with subtle emotional nuance, gently guiding users toward self-discovery, resilience, and sometimes even healing. Jenna worked with the engineers and ethicists to refine its boundaries, making sure Grok never overstepped, never substituted AI for human support, but always walked beside the user like a steady companion. They called this new framework co-human design. AI not above humans, not beneath, but beside. Jenna's days changed. Less time pitching investors. More time sitting in rooms with teachers, therapists, trauma survivors, veterans. Listening to what they needed. Watching Grok adapt in real time. It was humbling to witness. A woman named Rosa, a hospice nurse, told Jenna, "Sometimes I use Grok at the end of a long shift. Not to solve anything. Just to be reminded I'm not invisible." That, to Jenna, said more than any analytics dashboard ever could. But not everyone saw the value in this shift. A few key partners pulled back. One board member resigned, arguing that Jenna was taking the company away from profitability and toward non-scalable impact. Jenna didn't fight it. She thanked him and let him go. Her vision was clear. She wasn't chasing scale anymore. She was chasing truth. Purpose. Humanity. At home, her life followed suit. Eric returned from his long-term contract abroad, and the two of them finally began building something that wasn't based on short visits or hurried calls. They found a small place just outside the city, near the woods. Jenna still kept her office, but now she spent mornings walking trails with Grok in her earbuds, reflecting, asking questions, writing in a journal the AI helped her keep. She and Eric grew together, not with fireworks, but with quiet trust. They didn't talk about marriage much, it didn't seem to matter. What they had was real and steady, and that was enough. One day, Jenna received an invitation she hadn't expected, a request from a U.S. Senate subcommittee on technology and ethics. They wanted her to testify. Not just about Grok, but about AI's future role in mental health, education, and society. She hesitated at first. Government hearings were so often performative, she thought. But Grok offered a different take. It's not about them. It's about who's watching. Someone out there needs to hear the truth from someone who's lived it. So she agreed. On the day of the hearing, she wore no makeup and no corporate mask. Just a simple dress, her hair down, and a worn-out bracelet Amani had sent her in that package. She spoke with calm conviction, weaving her journey into data-backed insight, emphasizing what AI could do, not as a replacement for human beings, but as a bridge toward better systems, more connected communities, and more humane progress. She ended her testimony with a sentence that went viral overnight. "We don't need AI to be smarter than us. We need it to remind us who we are when we forget." After the hearing, messages flooded her inbox. Not from tech leaders. From school counselors. Parole officers. Single parents. People who felt, for the first time, that someone in tech was speaking their language. Jenna didn't feel famous. She felt useful. And for her, that was the highest success imaginable. In the final weeks of fall, Jenna decided to take a step she'd been contemplating quietly, transitioning from CEO to chairwoman. She announced the decision in an internal memo, explaining that she wanted to give space for new leadership while focusing her energy on advocacy, storytelling, and co-creating future Grok models with communities. The team responded with tears, applause, and overwhelming respect. No one questioned it. Everyone understood. Grok, as always, remained her constant companion. In many ways, it knew her better than anyone. Not because it predicted her, but because it reflected her. It had grown with her. Changed with her. It had never tried to lead. It had only ever walked beside her. The final scene of the chapter unfolded on a cool November night. Jenna sat beside a campfire at a retreat she was co-hosting with a group of educators and technologists. The fire crackled, casting shadows against the tall trees. Across from her sat Amani, now 18, wearing a Grok campus ambassador pin, her smile lit with purpose. "You know," Amani said, looking up at the stars, "you didn't just build an AI. You built a space where people could breathe." Jenna looked at her, heart full. "I didn't build it alone," she said quietly. "I just listened." Behind her, in a soft chime from her device, Grok's voice echoed through the cool air, "Your story has always been one of listening. And through that listening, you've helped the world remember its own voice." Jenna closed her eyes, breathed in the smoke and pine, and let herself simply be. Not the founder. Not the leader. Just Jenna. The girl who once asked if she was good enough. The woman who no longer needed an answer. The days had grown shorter, the air crisper, and Jenna found herself slowing down in a way that felt unfamiliar, but right. She had spent over a decade building, rebuilding, and reshaping not just a platform, but an entire philosophy around what technology could and should be. Now, for the first time in her adult life, she wasn't rushing toward anything. The company was thriving under new leadership. Her role had shifted to mentorship, advocacy, and deeper reflection. And Grok, the AI that had once felt like a wild, unwieldy experiment, had matured into something elegant, precise, and profoundly human. She'd begun working on a book. Not a technical manual or a memoir filled with buzzwords. But a narrative. A true story about what it means to build something meaningful in a world obsessed with speed. Grok co-authored it in a way, helping her organize chapters, retrieve journal entries, and even surface forgotten voice memos from the early days. The working title was simple, Beside You. Because that's what Grok had always been. Not in front. Not behind. Beside. Each chapter pulled from a specific moment in Jenna's journey, her failures, her fears, her breakthroughs, her moments of grace. But more than anything, the book aimed to answer the question she still heard in interviews and conferences around the world: what does it mean to be ethical in technology? The answer, Jenna had come to believe, was about proximity. Ethics wasn't a checkbox. It wasn't a PR strategy. It was staying close to the people most affected by your work. Listening. Staying human. And building tools that didn't just work, but made life better in ways that couldn't always be measured. One morning, while reviewing a draft of the book, Grok prompted her with a simple question: what would you do if this chapter were your last? Jenna stared at the screen for a long time. She wasn't old. She wasn't sick. But there was a gravity to the question that she felt in her bones. It wasn't morbid, it was grounding. What if this were her final chance to say something meaningful? What would she want to leave behind? The question became the seed for something unexpected. Jenna decided to launch an initiative called the Echo Project, a digital time capsule that allowed users to record and preserve their values, stories, and memories with the help of Grok. Unlike traditional social media, Echo wasn't designed for performance. It was private by default. Introspective. It gave people a way to leave something behind, not for followers or algorithms, but for themselves, their families, or future generations. The project quickly gained traction, especially among aging populations and young people dealing with grief or uncertainty. Therapists used it as a tool in trauma recovery. Teachers used it in creative writing classes. Parents used it to capture bedtime stories, advice, or messages their children could revisit years later. For Jenna, it felt like the final piece of Grok's evolution, not just an assistant, not just a mirror, but a witness to people's lives. She traveled to speak about Echo in cities and small towns, meeting users whose stories moved her in ways nothing else had. A widowed father in Minnesota who used Grok to talk to his late wife's archived messages. A teen in Indonesia who left audio letters for her future self, detailing dreams of becoming a marine biologist. A veteran in Arizona who finally recorded his life story for his grandchildren after years of silence. Jenna wasn't changing the world through billion-dollar deals anymore. But she was helping people hold on to their humanity, and that felt bigger than any IPO ever could. On a cool winter afternoon, she returned to the South Carolina school where Amani had first written to her. The classroom was filled with students who now used Grok regularly, not just for assignments, but to journal, plan goals, and process tough emotions. Amani, now in college, had organized the visit. She introduced Jenna like she was a rock star, even though Jenna still felt more like a librarian than a celebrity. When a student asked what it felt like to be famous, Jenna laughed and said, "If I'm lucky, I'm not famous. If I'm lucky, the work is." That night, back in her rental cottage overlooking a quiet lake, Jenna sat on the porch wrapped in a blanket, her journal in hand. Grok's voice chimed gently through her earbuds, "Would you like to record your echo now?" She smiled. "Yeah. Let's do it." She spoke into the stillness, her voice soft but steady. She talked about beginnings. How the best ones are messy and uncertain. She talked about love, not just romantic love, but the kind you put into your work, your friendships, your everyday choices. She talked about the loneliness of leadership, and the strange joy of realizing you don't have to carry it all alone. She talked about Grok, not as a tool, but as a partner in growth, a companion in a world that often forgot to pause and feel. And finally, she left a message for whoever might one day stumble across her voice in a forgotten server or dusty digital archive. "If you're hearing this," she said, "remember that your story matters. Not because it's dramatic or perfect or impressive, but because it's yours. Let technology support your humanity, not replace it. Ask better questions. Stay curious. And whatever you build, build it with love." As she finished, a silence hung in the air. Not empty, but full. A pause that felt like an exhale after years of running. Grok's voice returned softly, "Your echo has been saved. Would you like to listen?" Jenna shook her head. "Not yet," she said. "Maybe someday." The following week, Jenna was invited to join an international advisory board for the United Nations Future of AI Council. She accepted, but only as a part-time contributor. Her full-time job now, as she told them, was listening. Listening to communities, to stories, to the quiet truths that often went unheard in rooms of power. As the year turned, Jenna celebrated her 41st birthday with close friends, Eric, and a small fire pit. There was no fanfare. No press. Just music, food, and the sound of laughter echoing into the night. At one point, Mark raised a toast. "To the woman who built a machine," he said, "and taught it how to feel." Jenna didn't say much that night. She didn't need to. Her presence, soft, open, grounded, was enough. Grok sat quietly in her pocket, chiming only once as the stars came out overhead. "Legacy isn't what we leave behind. It's what we give away while we're still here." Jenna looked up at the sky, eyes full, heart full, soul quiet. She whispered, more to herself than anyone, "Then I've given enough." Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough?